My name's Sam from Yojimbo Cosplay, and today I am presenting to you the creation of Sunset Dragon's Yojimbo design that I am building. And I will be making the pauldrons, so the shoulder armor, out of foam and Worbla's Cobra Cast art. So let me talk a little bit about Worbla's Cobra Cast art and some of the materials I'll be using and which you may need as well. Okay, for starters, you're going to need Worbla's Cobra Cast art. Worbla's Cobra Cast art is a thermoplastic. So thermoplastics, when heat is applied to them, become malleable, and with the Worbla, it actually sticks to itself. Not all thermoplastics stick to themselves, but Worbla does. Now, Worbla's Cobra Cast art is probably its thinnest material. It's most flexible, it has the furthest stretch, and it has kind of this very faint mesh texture. It can be sewn, it really can be used the same way that Worbla's finest art can be used, but it has a bit more viability in other projects because it's not as heavy when it hardens, and it remains somewhat flexible, which means it becomes resistant to breaking. So let me show you the rest of these materials. I had a 2mm foam here, and then I have a 6mm foam here. This foam was acquired from TNT Cosplay Supplies. It is my favorite foam because it is smooth on both sides, and I don't have to worry about sanding off any unusual texture like you would with the anti-fatigue floor mats or the puzzle mats that people like to use for foam. No problem with that. I just like this foam better. I also have some contact cement, as there may be some unusual curvy structures on Yojimbo that I might have to build in foam first and then lay the Cobra Cast over. We're going to see as we go. When applying the contact cement, if you use a regular brush you can, but you can only use it once because the contact cement will destroy it. I have a silicone basting brush. It's kind of flimsy, and I'm going to get a little bit more rigid one for like cake details. They have smaller ones, but this works really well because once the contact cement dries, you can just peel it right off and keep using it. So something with a silicone tip, really useful. If you find a paintbrush that has a silicone handle, that might be the best way to apply your contact cement. I also have some scissors here. I use these only for foam and fabrication. I also have shears for the thicker foam because it is difficult to cut. You can use a utility knife or an X-Acto blade. My self-healing mat was destroyed, and I'll be covering it in Worbla's Cobra Cast art, so I'm not too worried about my edges. Therefore, I'm using scissors. The most important tool, my heat gun. I use a Wagner heat gun. It was only $27, and it has two settings, a low and high. There are far more advanced versions of this tool, but this has lasted for 4 years. 4 years? Can I say 4? No. This has lasted for 4 years, and I love it. You'll also need some kind of a marking utensil. If you can't draw patterns yourself, a good way to recreate a bit of armor is maybe look for a 3D render that someone has put online. I know there's Pepakura art that people use quite regularly. I like to draw, so I'm just going to use a marker and or a pen and make this happen. So let's get started. I have two different types of foam. Well, I thought I had two. I have 3 different types of foam. I have this foam, and this is the anti-fatigue floor mat foam. I have the TNT Cosplay Supply foam. I have it in 2 different thicknesses. This is a 6mm, and this is a 4mm. I think for Yojimbo, just because it's going to be like a really big side piece, I think I'm gonna go with the 6mm. Let's go. that I know that these little buggers are going to work, I have to cut out 6 more this size and then 2 that are double the height for the strange curve at the top. Let's get to it. Now that I have 2 sets of these long rectangles cut out, it is time for me to cut out the Cobra cast. Success. Success. 16 of these little suckers cut out. So now you have to take these and these and merge them together using this. Oh look, the sun was trying to make it look magical. This. Okay, let's get started. So this is day 3 of the Yojimbo Pauldron build. This tutorial is only a part 1 of a Yojimbo progress. The pauldrons are made, or pauldron is made. I had to experiment a little bit more with the Warbler's Cobra Cast art, but I discovered that one, it stretches really well, which is a benefit because if I need to have areas that have some gapping, I just press the Cobra Cast art together and it stretches and creates like this little mesh lining, so I don't have to add extra foam. But it also stretches really well, which means it wrinkles, so you have to be careful. I suggest not heating up the entire sheet of Warbler that you're working with for Cobra Cast art. Instead, heat in sections and then fold over, pull gently over a certain section, and keep certain parts of it cold so that it's rigid. And get ready for the second portion of Yojimbo later in December, and I'll create his sword using Warbler's Cobra Cast art and a whole bunch of other materials. See you later.